Hi, I'm Frederick. Thanks for tuning into this channel. We'll discuss whether you're good enough for your job or not. There is a slight chance that you actually are not good enough for your job. This discussion is based on more than 20 years of successful leadership. I know what I'm talking about. Stick around and I'll give you some ideas of how you can self-assess whether you are good enough for your job or not. And if you haven't done so, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel. It's worth it for experienced and for aspiring leaders. I promise that. Back to the self-assessment. First, this straight from the very beginning. There is no discussion whether you as an individual is good enough. You are good enough and you're more than that, of course. Before we get into this discussion, then remember rule number one, you are good enough. If you'll ever doubt that you're good enough, rule number two, look at rule number one. But this settled, let's move on. But you as an individual, we as individuals, we tend to compare ourselves to others. That only leads to disappointment because we always strive to compare ourselves to others which are maybe even out of our league, out of anything possible. If I would compare myself to anybody, it would be Superman. What are the chances that I can be Superman? They're not that great, I think. And this is where we start to go wrong. When we start comparing ourselves to other people. Don't do that. Compare yourself to you. Compare yourself to where you are now and where you want to be in your life. Compare yourself to your dreams, to your trajectory, your targets. Compare yourself to where am I compared to where I want to be. Am I happy with this? This is a discussion you can take. You can take a discussion, are you happy with where you are now compared to where you want to be? That's a discussion I'd like to take, but not whether you're good enough and whether you're good enough compared to somebody unrealistic, basically anyone. Let me give you an example. My wife, she compares herself to me. That is dead wrong. Dead wrong. And if you can hear noises in the background, Rambo. Yes, Rambo, yes, you are. My wife, she compares herself to me. We come from completely different cultures. She's Thai and I'm Scandinavian. Already there we have a huge gap in cultures, perceptions, differences. I've taken the beaten path, going to school, college, university. Started with this job, going to that job, this job, and so forth. She's been working at home in a shop, salon. She's been working with her friends. So the differences there are enormous. And she always compares herself to the things that she feels she cannot do that I can do. If I was to do anything, I was to compare myself to her because she's phenomenal. She knows people, she understands people. She has an artist's eye that I can only dream of. And I'm spending so much time explaining her, don't do this because you are unique, you have your own capabilities. Nobody is more than anybody else. Let's just set that straight. Yes, maybe you're not an A+ student. That is fine. If you want to move yourself, I would suggest you take a hard think about what it is that you as a person want. Not what it is that you think somebody else would want for you, but what you as a person want. And compared to that, where are you now? We can call it a gap analysis, because then you'll say, okay, this is where I am now. This is really where I would like to be. And then you have a distance. And then you can start planning how to travel that distance. Bit by bit by bit. Now you're on the path for you as an individual to grow, to be happy with what you want to be. To get that feeling inside that you are good enough because you are on the path that you've chosen. That you deliberately chosen. I am on this path. So you are good enough. You are on the right way. Of course, to walk that path, you need to find the right sources of energy. And I discussed that in the previous video, so I suggest you go look at that. It is so important that you find energy to do this, that you find support. I'm not saying that it has to be people, it has to be colleagues, spouses. No, it can be anything that gives you energy. I get energy from making these videos. This energy allows me to run on my path. Your energy can be anything. I don't know what it is, but you will need to find out and pursue this. Get yourself energy. Back to your work. Chances are you've been working hard your whole life, that you are following a career path, that the job that you have now, you've been chosen to this because you've earned it. I don't think you've just been placed there and then by coincidence you have to fill out a leader job. No. First of all, think this. You're where you are now because you've earned it. You've earned it, and this is your starting point. You've earned it, this is your starting point. Do a self-assessment. Approach this analytically. Don't do this subjectively. If you need to establish a feeling of whether you're good enough for your job or not, you need to do it objectively. I mean, if you do it subjectively, you're not going to go anywhere. Chances are, if you do it subjectively, you'll end up saying, oh, but I'm not good enough anyway. Which I think you probably are. Approach this objectively. Use lists, make notes. Try not to use how you think but what you can observe. With the job description, first of all, make sure that you're actually having a job that you like. It sounds crazy, but 25% of all people, they are in a job that they actually don't like. And if you're one of those 25% in a job that you don't like, turn off now. You're not going to get anything out of listening to me if you already know that you don't like the job, because whether you're good enough doesn't matter, because then you're not happy with your job, and this is a completely other discussion. Go talk to your peers. Go talk to your boss, go talk to your colleagues, to your employees, to your teams. Be open. Sit down with them and say, how do you think I'm doing? Is there anything you'd like me to change? Any suggestions for what I can do better? Take a discussion. 10, 15, 20 minutes, take people out for coffee, listen to them. You will get so valuable insight of doing this. And I'll also almost guarantee you that if you're one of the 75% who are in a job that they actually want to be in, these assessments, these discussions with your colleagues, they will reassure you in that you're doing the right thing, that you're in the right job. And if you're really lucky, if you're really lucky, then the people that you speak with, they will give you so invaluable input to what you can do better. Take this as gold. Do not take it as negative criticism. Take it as gold that you can use to become even better. If people, they want to spend time on you, and if people, they actually spend time on telling you, why don't you consider this path, or doing this, it would be wonderful for me if you would do that. You know what? You have a chance to become even better. And they would only spend this time with you if they feel that you are good enough in what you're doing. So at work, number 1, do you actually like your job? If not, let's talk another day. Number 2, look at your job description. Look objectively what you're doing and how you're doing, what results you're delivering. You'll probably find that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to, which means you're good enough. Number 3, speak with the peers around you. Ask them, tell me, what do you think I could do better? Tell me what do you think I do really good now, and is there anything you'd like me to do less of? Make a list again objectively. You will find so much valuable input. Putting all this together, you will find yourself in a job that you're good enough for. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with me, if you agree with me. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you like this. If you dare, tell me the biggest learning you've got from asking your peers about yourself. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to this channel. I'll be back in less than a week with more sparring and input and coaching for leaders and aspiring leaders. Thanks so much, and I'll see you later. What is your last price? If you haven't figured that out, this is my wife